You are listening to the Path to Mindset Mastery podcast. Welcome. I'm so excited you're here, and I have a question for you. Have you ever felt that you should be further along than you are right now? Like you should be at that next rank, should be at that income level, should be at that bank account level, whatever it is. If you've ever felt like you should be further along, this is the right episode for you. My name is Brad Bizjack. I'm a mindset coach and inspirational speaker. And for the last 3 years, I've worked with thousands of entrepreneurs and home-based business owners and help people just like you shatter the limiting beliefs and overcome all the self-doubt and negative self-talk holding you back from success so you can build that confidence that you truly deserve and create the life that you truly deserve. This is the Path to Mindset Mastery podcast, and below this video I have a little tool for you before we dive in. It's called the Mindset First Aid Kit. This PDF is your go-to guide when you're in those dark times, you're dealing with those negative emotions that come when you're trying to build a business and build your dreams. This is going to show you how to get out of those dark times so you can get back to building your legacy so much faster. Download that right below this, and as always, give us a rating and review on iTunes or Spotify or wherever you're listening to this. Would love to get your feedback on how this is serving you, how this is helping you, so we can serve more people. Feel free to share this in your Instagram stories, screenshot the podcast, get it out there to the world, and let's dive in. When I was starting out, I was $92,000 in debt, and I just wanted to be debt-free. I wanted to get out of that debt. You've probably heard this story before, but I want to share a little bit of it again, and it's so important for this lesson today. I wanted to be debt-free, and if I'm being totally honest, I wanted to feel like I was enough. And I remember just thinking, what am I missing? Is there something going wrong that I'm missing? I can't seem to figure it out. I'm doing everything right on paper. Why isn't it working for me? And I was like, I should be at that rank. I should be at that income level. I should be there. And for some reason I wasn't, and it seemed like everyone else was flying by me and just crushing it. And I felt that I should be there right now. I should be there by now. And I remember my mentor told me that I needed to get a mindset coach. And I listened to her. I was like, what I'm doing isn't working, so I'm going to get one. And I got myself a mindset coach. And on our very first call, I remember it to this day. It was like, it just hit me. I was telling her about how I'm doing the things. I'm listening to the podcast. I'm trying so hard. Why isn't this working for me? And she said something so simple and so profound, and it changed my life forever. She said, Brad, you're so attached to success that you're missing the whole point. You're missing the whole point of this entire journey. She said, until you learn to love where you are right now and appreciate everything about your life right now, you're going to find it very, very hard to get to your dreams because attachment does not align with what's next for your life. And it changed my whole life. I thought I should be there by now. I thought I should be further along, and I'm curious, have you ever felt that way? Have you ever looked at your finances and felt that you should be debt-free? Or looked at your bank account and thought there should be more? Or looked at your business and said you think you should have more customers by now? I felt that. And what it means, though, is it's a sign that you're not happy where you already are. And there's a problem with this. When you're not happy where you already are, it slows down the energy to get to where you want to be, because think about what it puts out to the world. When you're not happy and you're not okay, what energy do your clients, your prospects, your people that you're trying to serve pick up on? They feel a desperate, helpless, panicked energy. And do they want to join helpless and desperate and panicked? No, they don't want to join that. Absolutely not. They don't want to join that. Which it perpetuates more of the same problem, and it makes it worse, because when you focus on what's wrong, you create more of what's wrong. And so it's not going to go the way you want it if you keep that up. Even if you magically achieve for whatever reason, which I don't know how you would with that mindset, if you don't feel happy along the way, you're just going to feel a more exaggerated feeling of what you already feel, because you were thinking that your happiness would bring goals, but then you got to goals and you're like, is this all there is? You feel empty. That's not a fun place to be. Write this in your notes. Seeing your current good is the fastest way to increase more good. What we need to accept, and this is so important, there's a word in personal development that has served me so much and I hope serves you today. It's acceptance. Acceptance of where you are. Now keep in mind, acceptance of where you are doesn't mean that you want to stay there. It doesn't mean that you're not compelled to go after a bigger future. It actually lights the fire under your ass to go after a big future, because it's no longer wrong to be where you are. When it's wrong to be where you are, it's like you're combating your past. It's like you're trying to make your current reality different than it actually is. and you're living in fantasy land like it shouldn't be this way. Well, newsflash, it is this way. Your debt situation is your debt situation. Your bank account is your bank account. Your business is where it is right now. So you can either hate it or you can accept it. When Janice and I were starting on our debt journey, I remember she called me. It would have taken us 47 years to pay off our debt at the rate that we were going. We kept putting things into forbearance like every other month. It was just really, really bad. And she called me on the way to work one day before she left her job. And on the way to work, she was telling me about how she was just so freaking stressed out about this debt and how we couldn't, like, are we ever going to get out of this? And I remember saying in the moment, babe, this is our situation either way. We can either learn to love where we're at and enjoy the ride, or we are going to be miserable for years. And in that moment, we kind of decided that, you know what, we are going to celebrate where we're at, even if we're not where we want to be. And that's easier said than done. But when you make an effort of practicing it, it gets easier to do. Because you're exactly where, write this in your notes, you are exactly where you need to be to learn what you need to learn to live the life that you're meant to live. You're exactly where you need to be. When you adopt a belief that A, you are where you need to be, and B, your success is inevitable, then all of a sudden it's no longer wrong to be where you are. So if you were to adopt that belief right now, what would change? If you adopted a belief right now, I'm exactly where I need to be, what weight is lifted off your shoulder? And let me ask you a question. Doesn't that cause you to focus more on the solution than the problem? Of course it does, right? So until you learn to appreciate where you are right now, you never receive the lesson to move you to the next step, right? It's kind of like if you were going hiking up a mountain, and your shoe's untied, but you're not noticing it. And you keep tripping, and hitting a tree, keep tripping and falling on the trail, keep tripping and ripping your hand open on the ground, but you're not willing to stop and appreciate the beauty around you and tie your freaking shoe. If you would just sit down there and receive the lesson that your shoe's untied, the hike would get so much easier. The same is true here. When you accept where you are and stop making it wrong to be where you are, all of a sudden you see the lesson that will move you forward. It's right there. It's going to be clear as day once you accept where it is. It's kind of like when you're dealing with a stressful situation and something happens and you blow it out of proportion in your mind. Like, let's say you miss your monthly benchmark in your business. You blow it out of proportion in your mind. You say all these limiting things about how you're not enough to be a great business owner. Other people have it easier. All this, my mom told me this would be a bad idea. Other people don't understand my situation. I can't do this. I can't do this. I can't do this. And it's story. How do you solve that? It's not very fun, right? And what that is, that's called denial of your existing circumstances. But what's the only thing that's true in that entire circumstance? The only thing that's true is that you missed a business goal. That's it. And when you accept, okay, I missed a goal. Can you do something about it? Yeah, you start saying, well, what can I learn from this? How can I grow from this? Things will be very, very different when you start to adopt that mindset, because all of a sudden you see the lesson in the pain. There is a lesson in your pain that you need to accept, but the only way to accept it is to accept that your pain is what it is right now. Not saying you want to stay there, but you need to accept it. Otherwise, you're never going to receive the lesson to move to your next step, and you're going to make the pain worse or keep it the exact same. Perfectionists, people that value being perfect, I want you to ask yourself if that's you, need to be at the finish line. And have you ever noticed that perfection is so painful? It's so painful because it's setting yourself up for consistent failure no matter what you do. Perfection is the lowest standard someone can have as a human being because it's not possible. And so you're consistently living in pain. Perfectionists need to be at the finish line. But newsflash, the finish line is death. The finish line is death. So stop trying to get to the end so fast. Life's lessons are going to get louder and louder and louder until you freaking listen. Have you ever noticed that when you're in a relationship you shouldn't be in, the lessons and the signs that you should leave that relationship tend to get louder the more you don't listen to them? Yeah, life's lessons get louder until you freaking listen. I'm asking you to listen here. Let's use the example of knee pain. Let's say you're working out and over the course of time you start to get some knee pain. And you go, you know what? No, I'm fine. I'm totally fine. Totally fine. No big deal. I'm fine. And you keep working out. And you keep working out, and you keep doing it. Then all of a sudden one day you're realizing you can't lunge as deep on one leg than the other. And you do that over the course of time. You're still dealing with the knee pain. You're just pushing through it. You're just dealing with the situation. Well, then your hips get out of alignment, don't they? Which then leads to back pain. But you keep going. You're like, you know what? I'm fine. I'm fine. I gotta work out. I'm totally fine. I'm totally fine. You have back pain, your hips are out of alignment, your knee is bugging you, but you're still fine, and you keep going and you keep doing it. Then you end up bulging a disc in your back, and you're out for freaking months. Life's lessons will get louder and louder and louder until you freaking listen. Until you pay attention to what life is trying to tell you. I'm curious, in your life, in your emotions right now, if you had to find a lesson, what is life trying to teach you that you're not listening to? If you had to find a lesson in your pain, take a look at the painful parts of your life, and I want you to imagine someone else was going through that pain. If you're taking a look at that, and you ask yourself, what's the lesson here? Okay, this is my painful situation. This is where I am at. I accept where I'm at. Repeat the words. I accept where I'm at right now. I accept where I'm at. When you accept it, and you're looking at, okay, this is my situation. What's the lesson in my pain? What's the lesson in my dissatisfaction? When you start looking for that lesson, it's a sign that you've started to accept where you are. And when you not only accept where you are, but take it a step further and be grateful for where you are, all of a sudden the lesson comes so much faster. By the way, why do we want to be grateful for where we are, even if it's not where we want to be? Any ideas as to why that is? Because when you're grateful for why you are where you are right now, all of a sudden you match your energy to what's next. You start matching that grateful, abundant, loving energy to what you want to go after. You stop making it wrong and you accept where you are. Looking back, if you end up learning a lesson from let's say you're going through consistent financial trouble and you do it for 3 years, but then after 3 years, you finally learn a lesson that leads to complete financial freedom in 1 year. Is that 3 years worth it? Is that 3 years a good thing? Absolutely it is. It's an amazing thing because it led to a lesson that got you out of your financial situation into the situation that you want so much faster. But it wasn't until you started being grateful for it and seeing it as a gift that things changed. That's what I challenge you to do. Before you have the result that comes from appreciation, you need to appreciate where you are right now. Accept where you are, appreciate where you are, and that way you will learn the lesson of where you are to get to where you want to go. You are exactly where you need to be to learn what you need to learn to live the life that you're meant to live, and you gotta accept that. Acceptance is key in success. Once you accept that, you will find emotional freedom and your goals will no longer dictate your happiness. What happens in your finances, your bank account, your business will no longer dictate your happiness, and you'll feel more alive than you ever have before. So I hope this served you today. I hope you're seeing this as, oh my gosh, yes, I'm going to be grateful for where I am right now. That's going to move my life forward. When we did that, it changed our entire freaking life. Everything changed. We retired my wife from a corporate job. We ended up growing a $500,000 business in about a year. And I'm not sharing that to impress you, but to impress upon you the power of what I'm teaching you right now. It is so important that you understand this. It will change the game for you in seconds because all of a sudden your happiness is no longer dictated by what is your current reality. Your happiness will then dictate your current reality. I hope this served you today. Don't forget to download the Mindset First Aid Kit PDF below. It is there to serve you when you're in those limiting times. Everyone faces limiting emotions. This is going to show you how to get out of them faster and get back to building your legacy so much quicker. And as always, if you found value on this, screenshot it, share it with other people on your Instagram stories. Get more people attached to this podcast so they can break through their limiting beliefs and their challenges so much quicker. And I would absolutely love if you left us a rating and review on this podcast with how much it has touched you, how much it has helped you and served you. Go ahead and do that in iTunes or Spotify or whatever is best for you on your platform. And I hope this is adding value to you today. Thank you so much for being here. My name is Brad Bishak. Go out there today and every day and live your life with a genuine smile on your face. You're only one mindset shift away from doing it. I'll see you next week.